All right, it's live, isn't it? I think it is. Let me just share it around Discord so that people can click on it. I'm actually going to say at everyone. My God, this is the best command on Discord, and it's so good because I'm the only one who can use it. At everyone, click here, you bigots. There we go. Are you sure you want to send this message to more than 157 people? Yes, send it. I don't get it. Why are people upset when they get an at everyone on Discord? Because it's like, if it's like a message that informs you of something, how is it different than a normal at? You can still talk to me after I put the at everyone. I love it how people get upset. It's like, oh my God, you're at everyone. Really, V? Really? Really? Why are you saying at everyone on Discord? Oh, man. And then they put the same emojis, like they think they're smart, because like, oh, I got like the emoji with the metal jacket with the officer riding in boot camp, and he's like, who the fuck did this? Which one of you at everyone? Come on, I seen them. Who cares? There we go. We got the Discord folks. How's it going, Discord people? Long time no see. I love it how people get upset. They at me on Discord when I'm on Do Not Disturb. And usually when I'm on Do Not Disturb, I'm making YouTube videos. I'm not doing this in order to avoid people. But they at me, and I'm not responding. And then when I look at random channels, like someone just says V, and I'm like, hello. And they get seething. They seethe. It's like, V, why aren't you responding when I'm atting you? You can DM me on Twitter if you want me to respond. Unironically, I do exist on Twitter, and I have my DMs open for people. You know what, chat? I want you to tell to that darn kitty to cheer up. I want you to cheer up that darn kitty who is depressed this morning. Why are you depressed? I should actually do what Pippa did. My God, like, you know, Pippa gets so little credit. She's actually really good with streaming. I don't know, like, from her descriptions, she sounds like an introverted person having problems going out. But her stream broke down because she doesn't have access to internet. So she did this thing, which I didn't even know exists. It's called MySpace on Twitter. And you can have, like, a stream on Twitter. It is so fucking bizarre. But because it's on Twitter, she could actually do call-ins with people. I mean, I'm not trusting you guys to do call-ins with you. No offense. I know most of you are probably nice. In fact, like 99% of you are nice. But it only takes one single person to get on my stream and show la gente and then get me banned, or say a gamer word, or say something that's against the TOS. You know, it's like, oh, God damn it. Like, I wish I could do it. If this was 2 years ago, I would have had call-ins. Maybe I should go on Twitter. I don't know. I'd have to be streaming when Pippa isn't streaming. Like, when she's not doing her V-Space thing. Because if I do that, like, she would take all the people. She's the world #1 V-Spacer. It's called MySpace, right? And she's a VTuber, but she's not on YouTube, so it's a V-Spacer. She's world #1 V-Spacer. And when she's streaming, she gets all the popularity. Everyone goes there. It's called Twitter Space. Who the fuck uses Twitter Spaces unironically? Unironically, like, I've never heard about this before today. Well, actually, no, before yesterday. That's when Pippa first started it. Yeah, they are for audio. Let me show you. Let me see if she's still streaming, because it's actually hilarious. I was a guest. I streamed with her for a little bit. And, you know, I really feel bad about her internet connection. Let me see if I can find... Oh, here we go. Hopefully, I'm not getting any DMs or bad things. Here, look. Oh, everyone is speaking. Holy shit, too many people speaking. Yeah, I think she's leaving, and she got everyone that wanted to speak, gave them the ability to speak. But like, what I want to say, it's very interesting how she turned things around. I mean, she couldn't stream on YouTube, and it's like, all right, let's start this MySpace thing.
Happy belated birthday. Thank you so much, Gus, and I want to apologize. I don't even know how I can apologize for this, because I fucked it up. I fucked up so bad. I got a lot of super chats on my previous stream, and I didn't go through them, because I didn't realize that I was getting them. So I really apologize from the bottom of my heart. Look, if you sent me a super chat and I didn't read it, please DM me, and I will talk to you. Like, we can work something out, hopefully. If not, I'll give you a refund. I'm not even joking. Like, I am so sorry. It was the last stream. It never happened before. And I did get a lot of super chats that I didn't get time to read. So, I don't know. I mean, I can do, like, another stream and just read super chats, but, like, I don't think it's the same, right? Because, like, that stream had a lot of people. It had an energy. If you want me to read your super chat, just contact me on DM and I'll do it. But yes, V, I chat because I must scream. JK Vlachia forever. It's Valakia. It's not Vlachia. It's with a W. People like me are why you don't do call-ins. Yes, exactly. See, I don't trust the random person. The random person is always untrustworthy. I might have someone in, and then they might drop a couple of gamer words, and there goes the entire stream, you know? It's like, all of a sudden, whoop, deleted. And I don't like deleting streams. You know me, chat. I never delete streams. Yeah, they did get a proper buyer's remorse, but I do feel really bad, because, like, some of the donations were actually big, and I failed them. I think it was the stream where I was with the two other VTubers. Necrodeer and that rich bitch. I actually told her she's a rich bitch. Fire Dog. Fire Umbrella. And it was a fun stream. I don't know. Like, I like promoting people. And she was talking about all the shoes that she's having and the iPhone X that she was telling me she's not rich. Like, get the fuck out. You have an iPhone X. You're a rich bitch. And then she was like, but like, I didn't buy them. Like, someone else bought them for me. It's like, I didn't question how you came into the possessions of the wealth. But like, yeah, she's a really nice streamer, and you know, trying to start to get her started. Now, during that stream, I got a lot of super chats, and I didn't read them. Who is trustworthy from the chat? I guess, like, people who have been here for a while, I would trust. So definitely you, Zenith. Like, I would trust you because I have seen you. I think it's like, what, 1, maybe 2 years now. And I guess, like, it depends if I know the person. But even then, you know, like, you might have a person that you know, but they don't know the terms of service. So even if they don't want to get you into trouble, they might say something that YouTube doesn't allow. Unironically, there's this program now. It's called YouTube Academia. Okay? Like, academia. I mean, holy shit. And you actually go through it, and it takes a couple of minutes to complete. And it tells you about the terms of service, like what's allowed and what's not allowed to say. You know what? Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that this stream. Maybe I'll show you what's happening behind behind the scenes at YouTube. Thank you, 1-3, for the belated birthday, and I see Roman in the chat. Apparently, Roman wants poor women. Okay. So let me see if I can upload the video just to show you guys something. Let me check that the video is okay first, because I don't wanna upload something naughty. Holy shit, Steve, what? Hi, Mr. V, I'm broke, but I missed your birthday stream, which made me feel bad. I laughed my butt off from the stream with Koa. So I'm actually trying to I'm trying to get Koa and Pippa to do a collab. Like, that would be great. And there might be a collab with the entire Heaven X crew. So we're talking Pippa, Vivi, and Rosa, and the Archcast. And maybe we're going to play Barotrauma or something. And I'm going to do another collab with Viva this Sunday. So that's going to be great. Alright, so let me show you guys something, right? Give me a second. This is what happens when you upload the video on YouTube. I'll give you buyer's remorse, kitty. Hopefully I managed to cheer you up a little bit. So, this is what happens when you do buyer's... this is what happens when you upload a video on YouTube. So, you gotta go through all of these in order to make sure that your video is suitable for advertisements. And the first one you have is inappropriate language. And all of these, as you can see, have 3 categories. So the first category is safe for ads. The second category gives you limited ads, so like beer commercials and stuff. And the third category gives you no ads. So for example, with the inappropriate language, apparently you're allowed to have like abbreviated, censored, or light profanity like hell, damn. You can have moderate profanity like shit or bitch used in the video. And then you can have infrequent profanity like the F word, but you're not allowed to curse in the first 30 seconds. And then it goes down to moderate profanity in the title or thumbnail, strong profanity used frequently in the opening of a video, so the first 30 seconds, or strong profanity in the title or thumbnail. So this is Total Biscuits WTF series. You know, like he would go through videos and he would talk about games and he'd be like, WTF is blah, blah, blah. That would be demonetized now. And then you have like the gamer words. So any gamer words that you use throughout the video is going to demonetize your video, which is a really annoyance because the word C star NT, like you gotta figure out what they are, right? Because like even YouTube doesn't tell you what these words are. But whatever, you know, like the C star NT. If my Romanian language says I cannot, so I can't. Sometimes the algorithm understands it with a U, and I get in trouble. So, all right. Then you get adult content. This has to do with, you know, la gente. So you're allowed to show romance or kissing, discussion of romantic relationships, or sexuality without reference to intercourse, fully censored nudity, things that are non-graphic, sex education, or music video containing sexual content without nudity. But what's interesting is that sensual dancing in a professional setting with or without partial or full nudity is allowed. So this is why a lot of people go, it's like, well, why did I get demonetized for showing something, but like there's naked yoga on YouTube? It's because naked yoga falls under the category of professional setting. I know it's ridiculous, but it is what it is. And then you get into problem if you have like discussion of intimate sexual experiences or focus on sexual body parts, even if covered, blurred or censored nudity with discernible body parts, even when used in an educational context, sex toys, blah blah blah. Right. So this is like the adult. Then you have violence. Now violence is actually the most annoying one because you can't show even footage from like a burning building. Yeah, I should do some sensual dancing, shouldn't I? I just wait for my VTube avatar to be ready. Thank you, Alphonse. I appreciate it. Cam girls are not professional. I don't know. I really don't know. It is a professional setting, though, so... You're allowed to show graphic law enforcement in an educational context. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like a police officer shooting at someone, as long as I go like, look at the pose that the officer was making. This is the proper pose to shoot a gun. I have no fucking idea. Violence that occurs as part of unedited video gameplay. So like video games and movies and mild violence, that's fine. Historical videos also fine. As long as like they're, I think it's like World War II footage, that type of thing. Fitting graphic law enforcement without educational context. So if you just show a police officer beating an old lady, then that's not fine. Dead bodies with obvious injury and damage, or damage in educational documentary, blah, blah, blah. But like, look how much you gotta read, alright? Like, look how much you gotta read. And we're not part even like we're not even halfway through. And then you got like shocking content, harmful or dangerous acts, recreational drug, enabling dishonest behavior. It's like, what the fuck is dishonest behavior? Educational, humorous, or music-related references. Or statements on dishonest behavior. Content that doesn't promote dishonest, this is allowed. And then you have content meant to educate viewers on how to gain unauthorized access to devices. So like teaching people how to hack, I guess. Like this is not allowed. And then you like notice you got more. Like you got more. Look at this shit. All right, and this is just every single time you upload the video, you gotta go through this questionnaire. So this is how life is at YouTube. It's a hard job, but someone has to do it. I have no idea if this is what the advertisers want, but I know it's what YouTube wants. So, I mean, there's no way around it. You know, it's their platform, their rules. But when you read those, you kind of understand why the platform is the way it is. Because, like, everything that's not monetized, YouTubers won't talk about it. And the reason is it's not just the money, right? Because, like, you can go, like, I don't need the money. I just want to entertain people. But the algorithm pushes down your videos if you do that. Like, it's very difficult to grow. I mean, look at Sticks Hexenhammer. He stopped growing. He stopped growing for years now because he doesn't turn on ads. So it's very, very difficult. Yeah, Elon Musk buy YouTube. My God, the seething hatred that blue check marks have for Elon Musk is unreal. I have saved 2 pages of it, chat. 2 pages of blue check marks just complaining about Elon Musk. And a lot of people say, well, he only bought like 10% of the shares. Like, my question is, like, what's stopping him from buying more? I mean, once he's on the board, he can literally just buy more shares. There's nothing stopping him from just buying out the entire company. The problem is that, and I mentioned this before, even if he does become the CEO of Twitter, which is very difficult to do, but like assuming he does, he's still going to have difficulty because the entire staff is going to be against him. And it's not for ideological reason. I mean, imagine if he wants legitimate free speech and you're a Twitter censor. And you're paid a lot of money to be a Twitter censor. Well, you're going to have the prospect of being out of a job. Like, no censorship and free speech is... Why are you there? What are you doing? So, yeah, like, there's going to be a lot of them that are going to pull strings in order to just sabotage, I guess, Elon Musk and make sure that is not going to do whatever he wants with the company. But we'll see. I'm not very optimistic. I'll tell you that. I think that nothing is going to change. But at least, maybe things won't get worse. Right? Because I noticed the new CEO, he got in and he's like already, let's add some more bannable offenses. I'm like, oh God. If you are on the board, you can't own more than 14.2%. But is that a thing? He made a deal that says he can't buy more than 14%. But like, what if he gets a friend to buy 60%? Like, what's to stop him from like giving money to a third person? He probably, like, here's the thing. There is this thing called activism shareholder. So activism shareholder is when a person doesn't want to buy the entire company or even the majority of stocks. And you usually buy like 10, because it's the 9% rule. Like, you need 9% of radicals to change a company. So you buy like the 9% rule, right? And then you realize that a lot of decisions can be won due to apathy. Like, the other people that own stocks might not show up for board meetings. or they might not care about what you're doing, and that's when you start implementing shit. And then you can also start doing negotiations with people. Like, let's say some of the stockholders want something, and you're like, okay, I'm giving you this, what you want, but you give me what I want in another vote. So that's how it goes, you know? And sometimes these people are very successful. Like, I know a couple of examples where people bought around 9% of the shares at oil companies, and they managed to make those oil companies more environmental friendly at the expense of their profits. Because, like, it's the apathy, right? Like, a lot of people on the board, they don't show up for the board meetings, they don't do things. So, yeah. I haven't played RimWorld, but, like, I realized I bought it long ago, and maybe I should try it. It's going good, Sketch. It's going really good. I'm having a great day. I had a very bad day yesterday. I felt very fatigued, very tired, and honestly, I've been working nonstop for several months now. No Saturday, no Sunday off. And I decided to take one day off. And I woke up to, I think it was like 57 DMs on Twitter. And there were like 20 more on Discord. People asking me if I died. No, I'm fine. I do appreciate it. I got through all of them. Everyone that messaged me, you gotta reply. But I just wanted to take a day off. And I don't know. It felt wrong. There was some wrongness in it. It's like, why am I off? Why am I free? They realized that if they didn't put him on the company by another 0.1, and he could force apathy decisions. Probably. I don't know. Like, I have no idea what he wants to do. Like, the thing with Elon is that he is a car salesman. Literally, a car salesman. Like, he knows how to get good PR. He knows what to say in order to get people to like him. And the thing where he went, oh, I have a question. Do you guys want free speech on Twitter? Like who the fuck is going to say no to that, right? Like, only the blue check marks, but they're like a vocal minority. So most people were like, yeah, we want free speech on Twitter. And then he's like, oh, do you want me to buy Twitter? And people are like, yeah, sure, buy Twitter. Right? And then there was like, he keeps doing these things. Like, he made another one. It's like, do you think I should sell off my shares? And people vote yes, and he sells off his shares. Like, I don't believe that these decisions are made at random. Like if, he would ask a question that he wouldn't know the response. So he's playing this game where he's asking random crap on Twitter, knowing what people will say, but it comes off as if people have managed to democratically vote. You know what he's going to do. It comes off like, oh, look, he's just doing the will of the people. So yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. By the way, Roman, let me show you something. So the rigger that I asked, which is the rigger that Flamenco recommended, has done some work on my VTube avatar. And I want you to tell me if it's coming out good or not, because you're the one who drew it, so you know how it's supposed to look. I have absolutely no idea. This is why I'm asking, because I'm really clueless when it comes to rigging and other things. So let me see if I can find... God, I don't have it that handy. I have no idea like what rigging requires, like how difficult it is to do. I know some riggers even ask for $1,000 for the project, so that's like really bizarre. But hold on. I think yeah, okay, I found it. So it has no nose. And it makes it look very weird. Like, I hope with the nose it's going to look a lot better. It's not ready. Like, it's still work in project. What do you think, chat? Why do I not learn how to do it myself? Okay. Why don't you go fuck yourself? How about that? Why don't you learn how to go fuck yourself? I really hate it. Honestly, it's something, and I think I discussed it in another stream. And by the way, I'm telling you this with love and compassion. I'm not attacking you or anything. I just want to tell you, like, why don't you learn how to fuck yourself? Why do you need to find another woman to do it for you? Just learn how to fuck yourself. I really hate it. Like, imagine you're going to a doctor to get an appendix removed, and the doctor goes like, why don't you remove it yourself? Why don't you learn how to do it yourself? You know, like, I don't get it. But not even that. Like, imagine if everyone would know how to do everything. Why would you be paid to do anything then? Like, imagine if you're a carpenter, right? And everyone knew how to do carpenting. Like, your job would be useless. You'd be out of a fucking job. You're a builder, and you wanna, you know, you wanna build a wall or something for. But, like, Trump learns how to build the wall himself, and he, man, like, you know, I genuinely, like, don't get these people. It's like, why didn't you learn how to do it yourself? Why didn't you learn how to do it yourself? Fuck off. Why didn't you learn how to fuck yourself? How about that? Yeah, it's not only that. Like, the only reason I managed to make videos is because I need the time to do them. Like, it's a job that I mean, I make 5 videos a day. It's a day job, right? Like, from morning till dusk I do videos. If I had to, like, learn, I don't have time to play video games. Like, look at my Steam and how much hours I spent into video games and shit. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, if I were to start learning how to do rigging and stuff, it's like, okay, you know, first of all, it probably won't be as good as a professional, because, like, when you're rigging nonstop, it's one thing. But, like, secondly, it would take so much time that I would not have anything left for the videos. Yeah. Why do people still think that I am a doctor? I said so many fucking times. I finished med school and I quit. Like, I used to be a doctor. I mean, are you still a doctor after you quit? I took an unpaid leave. But, like, I think after 2 years, they probably let me go. Because I don't know. Like, the thing in Romania is that you can take unpaid leave. But, like, after a year, I think they fire you. So, technically, like, if I were to go back and take the residency exam again, I would get rehired. But it was like I was doing $300 per month, and on YouTube I was doing $400 per month, and I was like, Look, money isn't everything, but I don't have a PhD. No, I did have a university professor that asked me if I want to get a PhD because he was lacking a lot of staff. Like, the way it works at university, there's different ranks, kind of like in the military. So you start off, like you start your PhD, and then you become an assistant. After assistant, you graduate, and you become, I think it's, hold on, let me remember. Chef de lucreur. It's like, it's a type of chief of staff, but not really. And then you become a conferentiary, and then you become a university professor. So it's like 3 stages, right? And I could have become at the microbiology department. I could have become an assistant, but because, like, all the other assistants left, so they had a lot of empty places, and I really liked microbiology. I knew a lot about it, so the teacher asked me, but I decided not to because, again, I knew that maybe I want to focus on YouTube. You're still a doctor if you have an MD. Oh, okay. Well, I don't like considering myself a doctor because I'm not practicing, and not to mention it's been more than 6 years since I finished med school. Now, a lot of the things I don't even remember. I'm talking to my wife, though, and, you know, like, sometimes she has a problem understanding something. She's considering getting a PhD. And when she's talking about stuff, like I usually remember, especially if it's about immunology. She was talking about the complementary system, and I remembered a couple of issues from there. I explained her how to remember what IgG is versus an IgM. But like anyway, it's different from the medical English. Like this is actually very bizarre. Like I speak English the way you guys know that I speak. I don't know if it's perfect or not, but I think I speak enough English to get people to understand what I'm saying and vice versa. However, with that said, medical English is very different. And it is such a language barrier because here in Europe we use Latin in medicine, and you guys use like this bizarre like mixture. Like sometimes you use Latin, but other times you use, I guess it's English, English medicine, if that makes sense, you know. But it's not Latin based. And also in Romania, we have like a lot of inspiration from the French medical school. So a lot of French names, a lot of things. Yeah, it's very difficult to grasp medical English when it's so different. Yeah. Well, actually, Latin, you know, it helped me a lot at law school. A lot of lawyers that want to show off, you know, they talk in they use Latin phrases and expressions, and it helped me a lot at med school as well. But it's like it's not necessary to know it. Like you can go through med school without knowing a single drop of Latin. But it kind of helps you understand like a couple of words and sayings, especially when you do anatomy. Do you know the name of the drugs? Oh my fucking god. Okay, so learning the drugs is like learning the phone book. And what's even more difficult with drugs is that every drug has an active substance. Like for example, prednisone, right? So prednisone, if I remember correctly, it was 1 milligram per kilogram, but like whatever. So you have prednisone, but that is the active substance. And then you have like the commercial medicine, you know, like Pfizer will call prednisone in some way, and Moderna will call it in another way. Um, and it like you gotta learn all these things because like when you talk to the patient, you don't tell him the active substance, you tell him the commercial medicine. It's kind of like the COVID vaccine, you know, like the active substance. Imagine if it was called COVID vaccine, but it's not that. And the commercial one is, I don't know, like the Comirnaty vaccine or something. I don't know how they registered it. But like every pharmaceutical company registers its medicine under a brand. So you gotta know the active substance, and then you need to know the brand. Hello, Captain Syrah from Discord. Ah, see? I know that. I know things. Latin is the root, yes. The synovial fluid. Yeah, like Panadol and aspirin. Oh my fucking god. See, I was struggling to explain to chat for the last 5 minutes. And then someone comes in, it's like Panadol and aspirin, yes. The last 3 years were a good time to not be a doctor. I 1000% agree. Okay, so it really depends where you were a doctor, what were you doing, and why are you doing it. So, for example, a lot of doctors got a huge pay cut during the last 2 years. So if you had anything to do with COVID-related things, you would get a wage increase. In my country, it was even up to 70%. Hazard pay, right? Then, if you were certain type of doctor, you might even stay home. My wife, for example, she stayed home 1 year before she changed her medical profession because she was bored to death. In Romania, it's called orele. So it's like a surgeon that deals with the throat, the nose, and the ears, right? And that's what she was doing. And during COVID, all like her department got short-staffed because they wouldn't deal with patients unless it was an emergency. So she got to stay home and she was making money. Now, she got bored and she moved over to doing laboratory work, like she's doing now immunology, microbiology, and other things. So she was getting like a 75% increase when she was doing the COVID test. So, it really depends where you were at. Like, if you were an emergency ICU doctor, yeah, like, life was hard. Life was very hard. And then it also depends on in what country you were. Like, right now in Romania, there is a scandal in the newspaper because people aren't very nice to doctors. Let's leave it like that. People are a little bit more aggressive. So and some of the doctors got sued, and they're having lawsuits now. So it depends, but like in Germany, I think people are nicer to the medical staff. Of course, I married a doctor. I mean, I was at the University of Medicine. Almost everyone that you know is a doctor. The thing is, if you try to marry outside of the University of Medicine, it just doesn't work. The thing with med school is that it's so difficult compared to other universities, and I can compare it with law school, but there is just so much stuff you need to learn, and it's so difficult, especially when you deal with anatomy and other things, that it takes your entire day. And because of that, you don't have any more references. Like, you don't have any pop culture references. You don't know what's going on outside of med school. So if you try to date someone, and at the time I used to have an ex-girlfriend, which was at the University of Letters, and she was top of her class, and she kept wanting to go out with me, and I was like, no, I can't. I got an exam coming up for biochemistry. No, I can't. I got an exam coming up for biophysics. And she thought that I was cheating on her because she was like, look, I'm top of my class at my university, and I don't study as much. So, and your grades aren't perfect, so clearly you're lying and you're cheating. And I'm like, no, fuck, So I broke up with her, but then as I tried to date other women outside of med school, I didn't know what the fuck to talk about, right? Because, everything I knew was about med school. And I didn't know, the musician that she was talking about. I didn't know the current affairs that's going on the news. I didn't know jack shit. And it's very difficult to have a conversation. So the only thing you can do was to go out with other people from med school. So literally all the people that I knew were doctors. What's bad about German doctors? It's not that it's bad with German doctors, but it's like their population approved of the pandemic measures in a huge percentage, so they weren't getting people angry at doctors or anything. Yeah, I didn't dance in TikTok. I missed that, but I don't think doctors danced in TikTok. Wasn't that the nurses? Like, doctors actually had the job. Oh yeah, I know. Like, a lot of art students thought that their university was hard. Like, honestly, when I was at law school, and I would heard like someone like the equivalent of gender studies, it was called international relationships and socioeconomics. Like, this was the Romanian equivalent of gender studies. All the women who didn't want to study at high school went there, and they would really tell you, it's like, why the fuck are you going to that university? It's like, oh, because it's easy. I see. So they would go to that university and they would learn about Marxist bullshit or whatever the fuck, and then they would end up being unemployed and working for McDonald's. But with that said, they were complaining that, oh my god, this is so hard, and I was sitting there at law school and looking at, like, can you show me what you gotta learn? And they were like, having like 30 pages to memorize. And yeah, sure, they had like some specific jargon, and I guess like for a uninitiated person it looked different. But like once you started getting into it, it was like the most easy thing ever. Like I could learn that within a couple of hours, and I would have been able to ace the exam. Meanwhile, at law school, I had literal books that I had to study just for one exam. So, is that. And then when I went to med school, I mean, things were so complicated that I was like, wow, I missed law school. Like, law school was quite easy. Like, the thing with law school is that a lot of things make sense. They're not irrational. Like, they're not devoid of logic. You kind of figure things out after you master the basics. But at med school, there were a couple of subjects, like, for example, anatomy. Like, the name of a muscle is that because it's that. There is no logic. and the insertion of the muscles are those because those are the ones that are. Like you just have to memorize shit, like memorizing the phone book, especially when you go to pharmacology and you have to learn the pharmaceutics. It's a pain. It's not just memorizing, it's memorizing Marxist BS. So I was speaking with this professor that was like at the quote-unquote gender studies Romanian version. And he was telling me that he doesn't understand the absolute hatred that some of his students had towards the French revolutionaries. So they were talking about the French Revolution, which in my opinion is the primordial, like communist movement, I guess. Like they didn't have a word for it at the time. But they wanted equality, right? Like they were abolishing gender and whatnot. Like all that bullshit came there, and they were like anti-religion. So a lot of communist stuff has its roots in the Marxist revolution, in the French Revolution. But from what the teacher told me, it's like the students thought that the revolutionaries were sexist bigots, and they had like this irrational hatred towards people who died hundreds of years ago. And it's like, holy fuck, like, really? How does that happen? V is going to need pharmaceutics after suffering mental breakdown from being roasted by all the VTubers. It's kind of weird that Pippa didn't roast me today, because I was with her at the stream. I don't think anyone recorded it, thank God. But I went on a stream with her on Twitter, of all places, and she didn't roast me. I am like, oh my God, I survived. I managed to survive. Chat, I'm still here.
Upset about boxing competitor.
I felt really bad for what's happening with her, honestly. Like, she had this really entertaining bit happening on 1st of April, and her internet went down. I mean, that is like one of the most depressing things that can happen to a streamer. Because there's two types of streams, like this one right now where I'm just winging it and I'm talking to the chat. But there are streams where you do a lot of preparation and, you're hyped up. It's like, oh my God, this is going to be so awesome. And then you start it and you realize that the stream is going down because, well, internet or whatever the fuck, technical difficulties. And man, I'm telling you, it's heartbreaking. Because, like, all the effort that you put in, and it's for nothing. The revolutionists didn't want to abolish gender. It's more the constitution had men as the ones that voted. No, the revolution in France, they forced you to say citizen rather than monsieur and madame. So everyone was equal, right? You couldn't... Like, I wasn't supposed to call you sir. I was supposed to call you citizen. So it was like the first gender neutral pronoun, if you will. And the communists did the same. Like, it was tovarish instead of, like, Mr. or Mrs. It was tovarish or comrade. Yeah. We need another... okay, I can't read that. Napoleon provided the revolutions have no value. It's a cycle of the same... my bad, I read it poorly. Sorry, I'm a little bit underslept. Napoleon provided that revolutions have no value. It's a cycle of the same thing. I don't know. I mean... The revolution did end the monarchy. There was that. And you may say, well, yeah, but like Napoleon came in. Yeah, but like he wasn't a monarch. Like the thing with the aristocracy, it was something very difficult to imagine today. It's like a second class of citizens, another class of citizens that have rights that you don't simply by birth. And you have to respect them simply because they're an aristocrat and they're better than you. I mean, there are those people today, but it's not by birth. And like you could have been a very wealthy merchant, but an aristocrat that was poorer than you was still better than you. It's kind of difficult to wrap your mind around. Like, for example, for the same crime, an aristocrat would have served a different sentence. So the crime of rape, right? Like if an aristocrat raped a peasant woman, then he would just have to pay a fine. If a peasant would rape an aristocrat woman, the punishment was death. So it's literally the same crime, but depending on who commits it, the punishment is different. Napoleon was emperor. Yeah, but it's not like the same thing. Like a king used to be schooled since the day of his birth into how to become a noble. So a king would get a very good education about the history of the country, about the international affairs, about how to govern at court. Napoleon got none of it. And yeah, I mean, sure, he got the title of emperor, but it's not really the same like the kings of old or the emperors of old. So the emperors of old, like you get to see it. Like I remember when I saw the king of Romania speak for the first time. Like he didn't speak like a politician. Like his words were very powerful, and they were. He had the decorum to himself. Like he knew how to behave in a way that normal people don't. And it's that type of education that other people don't have. Because, like, there's no way you can have it. Like, most people don't get an education the moment they're born. And it's not just, like, having a database of knowledge. It's also your mannerisms, the way you conduct yourself. Like, literally every single detail with minute autism is dictated on how you should have a proper kingly behavior. Hello, Master Hellion 300. Different punishments for different classes, sounds like today. There are cases, but like it's not only that. Like it would be like you would know basically that, okay, well, this is an aristocrat, obviously, and you would agree. Like that's the thing, right? Like people would agree that aristocrats should have different rules than the peasants. How did the Romanian king talk? I mean, you'd have to watch his speeches. He didn't use words that you couldn't understand, but at the same time, he also sounded intelligent, unlike politicians. So he didn't use any complex words, but he spoke with an air of dignity, and it immediately imposed respect to the people around him. Yeah, exactly. Monarchs got trained from birth in rhetoric. That is true. All right. In monarchy, you can apprehend a peasant for no reason, but the lord has rights. I mean, if you're a noble, it's not that you could actually, like murder peasants or whatever. But like, it depends in what country, depends in what time. I mean, there was a place where nobles could just whip peasants if they wanted to, especially here in Eastern Europe during medieval times. Peasants were kind of like slaves. I mean, they weren't chained or anything, but they weren't allowed to leave the land that they grew up in, so you couldn't just travel outside your village if you just felt like it. The nobles, they required a tribute, like a tithe. And if you didn't pay it, they could physically hurt you. So, yeah, I mean, it really depends. Let's see what we're talking. We're talking about scorpions in chat. How did that come to be? Modern day politicians are identical to aristocrats, but for some reason we think they are equal to us. Not really. I have seen many modern day politicians get locked up, at least in my country. I don't know how it's in America, but there are politicians who get locked up. There are politicians who end up getting in trouble. But I suppose, like, yeah, in the United States, there is a lot of corruption, and there's like a lot of things that a politician can get away with. It's usually money and networking, right? And politicians don't have the power necessarily because of their birthright. And it's not for life. I mean, they can at any point lose the elections and stop being politicians. Thank you, Steve Watt, for the 10 Australians. What is your favorite Romanian classic car that was actually made in Romania? I don't like cars, though. But, like, if you want to get an answer, the Dacia is a car that Romanians make. So let me see if I can find the Dacia Duster. I think it's made by a French company, but it's technically Romanian made. I don't know if it's made in Romania, but it is a Romanian car. So this is the one, the Dacia Duster. And it's quite cheap. It's affordable for a 4x4. Let me check how much. So the one made in 2022, so in this year, you can buy it for £10,000. But this is like the newest model. Like you get everything. And I think like the difference is the accessories, like how much bling you want to it. But yeah, I mean compared to a 4x4, it's not that expensive. And this is the one that came out this year. So if you want to buy one that's from 3 or 4 years ago, you're going to get a lot cheaper than this. I don't know the pricing with cars or anything. I'm not a car person, but you asked me like what is a good Romanian car, and I think like from what I heard, like most people are happy with this. Like they're not complaining. Oh, it's made at the factory in Mioveni? Okay, so it's a Romanian one. Yeah. I don't know if you can buy it if you're not from Romania. You probably can if you order it, but you guys probably have better cars. It is a 4x4, so you get that advantage. You can park it in the winter. I remember like a colleague of mine had a 4x4 and he literally drove it on a mountain of snow and he parked it there. Why? Because he could. Steering is on the wrong side? No, it's literally what it's supposed to be. Will I buy a horse because of the gas price? Do you know how expensive the carrots are going to be, man? I don't get like the people who think like a horse doesn't drive on gas. You need fertilizer in order to plant the carrots, and you need gas in order to bring the fertilizer to the farm. And then you probably need the gas in order to bring the carrots to the horse. So, no, the horses are going to be expensive. I don't have a car, so there's that. But, yeah. Honestly, the thing with the gas is not like necessarily driving the car that's the worst. It's number one, heating your house if you're in Eastern Europe and the temperatures go down, like you need to heat the apartment. And the second problem is the prices, right? It's like everything needs transportation. We don't have electric trucks yet, so yeah, it's horrible. But like, yeah, number one is heating your house. That's the biggest thing. Bicycle. I don't get people that go like, oh, buy rollerblades, buy bicycles. Like, let me show you something, right? I mean, hold on. And now you pissed me off again. Chat, why you do this? So. This is what we call like a mild winter in Romania. I mean, it usually gets worse. And I know there's going to be some Norwegians here that going, yeah, well, this is not so bad. You should see my Okay, I don't care about that. What I am trying to say is that this is how things look like in Romania. Please tell me, where the fuck do you see the bicycling happen? Like, where are people supposed to bicycle in this shit? Where are people supposed to get their rollerblades in this shit? Because I generally like don't understand the people who are like, oh, just bicycle. It's like, okay, yeah, if it's summer, sure, I can see that happening. If it's autumn, all right. And even bicycling, right? Like, what if it's raining? What if it's like a really, really nasty day outside? What are you going to do then? Because like you gotta go to work constantly, right? You can't just skip a day. So it depends where you're at. Like I usually, if the workplace is close, like obviously you're not going to need a bicycle or any method of transportation because you can just walk if it's close. But if it's far away, then okay, you need a car. And people go like, oh well, don't get a car, just get a bicycle. Alright, but what if the weather is like this? What the fuck do you do then? Biking only works if you live in dense cities with nice weather. Aside from snow, yeah, exactly. You need nice weather. Yeah, I work from home, I guess, so I don't need any method of transportation. Now, my wife goes to the hospital, and I don't live in the city, so for her it's more difficult. And doing the shopping is also difficult. Now, you can say, well, why don't you just order shopping? I mean, you can order, but it's first of all, it's a different experience when you're out shopping. And whenever I order groceries, the lettuce and everything that's, the vegetables, they don't select the proper ones because the guy who does the online shopping, he just takes the tomatoes and throws them in. He doesn't look like, oh, is this tomato ripe? Is it good? Is it? It's a different experience when you go there, when you touch the vegetable, chat. I love touching those vegetables and squeezing them to see if they're fresh. Same with the bread. I'm playing Humankind. Yeah, shut the fuck up. What do you want me to play, Civ? Kick V. Okay. I'm getting kicked.